Welcome to my channel, All for Health with Jane. Family, we are still on the Senzo Meyiwa Trial. Colonel Steyn, in his evidence in chief, informed the court that when he was going through the process of analyzing the cell phones, it was when POPI Act was still not implemented. And because of this, Advocate Mngomezulu, in the beginning of his cross-examination to Colonel Steyn, he wants Colonel Steyn to take him through the process of applying for POPI Act, meaning he wanted Colonel Steyn to tell him the steps of applying for permission from the owner of the information before you can investigate his information. Advocate Mngomezulu purposely asked this question because, according to him, the POPI Act was already in function in 2014 when Colonel Steyn analyzed the cell phones without the permission of the accused. When Advocate Baloyi realized there was a mistake on the side of Advocate Mngomezulu, he read out this POPI Act commencement date to the court, and he said the POPI Act commencement date was the 1st of July 2020. So meaning Colonel Steyn was within his rights for doing whatever he had done before copyrights were implemented. Advocate Mngomezulu, after hearing this, he therefore requested for this matter of POPI Act to stand down, and he continued with his cross-examination. Family, let's listen to this clip where Advocate Baloyi is verifying to the court when the POPI Act was or had commenced. Let's listen.
Yeah, we just want to place on record, my lord, that actually POPI Act is just the acronym. The name of the act is Protection of Personal Information Act 4 of 2013. It was assented to by the President on the 19th of November 2013, and says date of commencement 1 July 2020. We're just looking at...
Okay, let's just put that into evidence. So when did it become law? According to what you are reading there.
It's 1 July 2020.
And Mr. Mngomezulu says it's 2014.
According to my research, is the 11th of April 2014.
This is a question of law. We can all look into that, look at the applicable government gazette that put that into operation. But on the face of the act, this is the information that is contained.
Let me have a look at that.
These enactments were in piecemeal. Basically, what was the purpose of this application of this act? Was to protect.
Well, what I'm reading here, it says the source. This is the Department of Justice, Statutes and Regulations of South Africa, and it says it's Act 11-776, and it says Protection of Personal Information Act 4 of 2013. And it says assented to 19th November 2013. Date of commencement 1st July 2020. And then it says here, it was printed in the Government Gazette number 297, Gazette number 44383 of 1st April 2021. That's when it was gazetted, according to this. Did you see when it was gazetted, sir? Mr. Sibanda? Yeah.
Mr. Sibanda.
Did you see it when it was gazetted, or you didn't read it?
Yeah, we didn't check that.
Yeah, ne? How do you read an act?
Yes, there are 3 gazettes.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, we saw there are 3 gazettes that came into operation on different dates.
Yeah.
Yes, we just have to check those gazettes.
Fine.
Hence, I'm requesting this aspect to stand down, but
Yeah, fine. We'll stand down until when?
no, this aspect, I'll proceed with my cross-examination.
Okay. What's
Maybe
the
I'll
time?
address it after lunch.
What's the time now?
4 minutes to 11.
Okay. You want us to adjourn now or what?
No, my lord.
Oh, okay,
I
fine.
was-
Go. Okay, go
On
on.
this aspect, that's the reason why I was requesting.
Okay, fine.
Mr. Steyn, let's just, because this is very important, I'll come back to it after lunch, if needs be. Let's move on. We are still on paragraph 4. The first and the second bulletin of your paragraph. You talked about section 205.
Family, remember that the main reason why Colonel Steyn was recalled was to clarify the issue of the 2 numbers that took place on the 8th of August as well as on the 15th of October 2014 as compared to what was presented by Pinky Vaithalingham, the Vodacom lady. According to Pinky, it was different numbers altogether. According to Colonel Steyn, we saw the numbers of Izokuhlentuli calling Kelly Kumalo. So hence, we have Colonel Steyn in this court today to come and clarify that. I think this is our main, we all are interested in hearing what happened? Why are these numbers not the same on the same day? You know, all that. So we wanted to hear about that. So according to Colonel Steyn, he says, or maybe what he has presented, he says what he presented last year in 2023, it is still the same. Nothing has changed. There is nowhere he has changed information. He's still giving this court the same information. Colonel Steyn even emphasizes that Section 205 and the SAPS download program. You remember yesterday he told us about the downloader they are using at SAPS. Those are 2 different programs. And therefore, what he has presented and what Pinky has presented are not the same since they used different programs. Yes, they were given the same numbers, but because of the different programs, there are areas that Vodacom program cannot read as compared to the SAPS downloader. Family, if I understand Colonel Steyn very well, this means Vodacom can only read calls, SMSs, WhatsApp messages that are managed by Vodacom towers, or maybe through their own towers as Vodacom. And another thing, Vodacom can therefore not be able to read calls, messages, and WhatsApps that are done by other Wi-Fi companies. That's my own understanding anyway. In the comment section, please let's talk. If you understand him the same way as I am. So meaning if you have a Wi-Fi from other private companies, different companies, let's say Telkom, for an example, Vodacom won't be able to pick up some of the information that is being managed by Telkom. Just to give an example, we have a lot of companies that are selling Wi-Fi to us. So some of those companies, Vodacom won't be able to pick up their transactions. So now the difference with the SAPS downloader with this of Vodacom is that the downloader can read information, including those of other Wi-Fi companies. So when they do their investigations, they can read any using that a downloader program. So Steyn says the calls made by accused number 5 to Ms. Kelly Khumalo was done via this other connections and not via Vodacom, meaning there is no difference in what, there's no contradiction as we put it. Steyn says the difference is that the calls that we were able to pick up with our downloader, they were made by different Wi-Fi companies or maybe programs or whatever you can call it. And then with Vodacom will only be able to pick up only those that are managed by Vodacom. Another example that Mr. Mngomezulu wanted to know was that of booting or to boot up the phone, the device. By booting it up, it's when you set it on the factory mode, something like that. Then it erases everything. It deletes everything on your phone and the phone becomes new. So meaning the information that was on the phone, it's deleted. Then you have a new or empty memory altogether. So he said, Advocate Mngomezulu wanted to know if Vodacom could not pick that up. So Steyn said, according to him, Vodacom program cannot pick that up. So, but they were able to see that Ms. Kelly Khumalo tried to reboot her phone in order to delete the information that was on her phone. Family, let's listen to Advocate Mngomezulu as he is cross-examining Colonel Steyn. Let's listen, family.
You said you were provided with a certain number, certain cell numbers. That's correct. Now, on the A and B system, you said something about the A and B system where you throw in and whatever. Is it actually prescribed or governed by a particular piece of legislation?
That's correct.
ANC le enkhulume ngayo ke yebo ke ukhona ke umthetho othize ke noma umthetho olawula lokho noma ke ukusebenza lokho.
I understand it's an app in the SAPS.
That's correct.
Futhi ke lokubizwa ngokuthi ke i-app phakathi emaphoyiseni.
But program. Sorry?
Or a program, yeah.
Yes. But is it promulgated or regulated by a particular act of parliament other than being...
I don't know.
Ukuthi ke kunomthetho othize ke obuye eParliament olawula lokho angazi.
So the reason for you to be called or to be recalled is to clarify the discrepancies between J1 and Exhibit 01, especially on two transactions. Transactions of the 2nd of August 2014 and the 15th of October 2014. Correct?
2nd of October and the 15th of October. Yeah.
15th of October 2014.
That's correct.
Ukubizwa kwakhe ke noma ke ukuthi uphinde ubizwe futhi ke nanje ngoba ubuzileke kuhlanje ngaphambi ukuthi uzokuthi ubufakazi bakho bekuchaza ke ungahlanganike okukhona ke lana phakathi kwakhe J1 kanye ke no 01 futhi ke kukhulunywa la ngamalanga amabili i15 zika October 15 October kanye nazo i2nd zika August. Yebo kuyiqiniso lokho.
I believe my colleagues will get into that aspect. I just want you to get into what is essential relating to the principles of law. You have already gave evidence in August 2023.
Yes.
Kuyiqiniso ukuthi ngo-August 2023 ngase ngibethula ubufakazi bami.
And August 2024, you are recalled to give clarity on what you testified on in 2023 August.
That's correct, my lord. Like I explained yesterday, I proved yesterday that there's no difference between my evidence and the one I give in last year, August last year.
Buso thule ubufakazi ke ngo-August ka-2023, August ke manje ka-2024 uyabizwa futhi ke ukuthi ke uzochaza ke la okunongahlangani khona ke. Yebo kuyiqiniso lokho ngokwesenkantolo, nayo izolo ke ngikutshengisile ke noma ngikuvezile ke ukuthi ke awukho umehluko kuloko engakusho ngo-August unyaka odlule naloko engikushilo la enkantolo.
Like I did mention yesterday, the section 205 is on its own. And the download is on its own.
Nanjengoba ngishilo ke futhi ke ukuthi ke i-section 205 lena ke imele kanye futhi nayo ke i-download into eyodwa ukusho ukuthi into ezimbili ezihlukile.
The section 205 is actually the property or product of Vodacom. The download is a product of the SAP.
Bese kuthi ke manje i-205 yona ke ibuya ku Vodacom. Bese kuthi i-download lena yona ke buya emaphoyiseni.
Any changes between the 205s or any discrepancies or differences between the section 205s and the downloads? You said it assumes a status of an Excel in order to, it assume a status of an Excel after it has been downloaded. Am I putting it correctly?
When I
From
receive
the conversion part of it?
When I receive it, it's in an Excel spreadsheet, a working document.
Yes.
Uma mina ngiyithola ikuloko kubiza ngokuthi ke i-spreadsheet ke se-Excel ngamagama ke i-document noma yinto ongasebenza ngayo ongasebenza kuyona.
Yes, my concern is at the time when you received that spreadsheet, did you come across the differences between what is in the 205s and that spreadsheet or on your working document?
There wasn't any differences.
Akukho ukwehluka okwakukhona noma umehluko wawukhona.
Where does this difference come from? Was it at the time when you used the A and B program?
Which difference you're referring to now? That column, I did mention in my first statement that I transport the information to an Excel spreadsheet to explain it to the court in a workable, understandable document. So that is something I did myself. It's not a difference with a section 205 or a download. Like you see in that exhibit you received yesterday. It's on page this and it's on page that.
Angazi ke umuphi lo mehluko okhuluma ngawo ngoba ngikushilo ke lokhu izolo ukuthi mina ke engakhipha ke lokho lapha yana ke ngenzela inkantolo ukuthi ke ikuzwisiseke noma ke iboneke imina okwenziwa imina futhi ke nabona ka amazibiti enwatholileke izolo ukuthi ipage elithize ngale ipage elithize.
Okay, just give me a second. There's something I just want to check before I move on to something else.
You may sit down if you want to, sir.
Thank you.
I'm the fitter one here.
This one. Just a second, my lord. Say, there's something that also bothers me here in paragraph 6 of your affidavit. Can you please read that sentence for me?
Paragraph 6 of bullet 6.
No, paragraph 6.
That one of Kelly rebooted?
Yes.
Okay. Kelly rebooted her handset during the early morning hours of...
Oh, sorry, before that one. Sorry, sir, before that one. Paragraph 5.
As mentioned in my previous statement, paragraph 3, I did mention that I make use of both the section 205 and the downloads to explain to the court and make use.
Nanje mangishilo ke istatement sami sangaphambilini kena ke paragraph 3 ngishilo ukuthi ke ngasebenzisa ke ukubili ke isection 205 kanye nawo ke ama download ukuchaza ke enkantolo futhi ngisebenzise
And make use of certain terms like MOC and MTC. MOC and MTC is an indication if the call was received or made by a person.
ukuchaza ke amagama afana nabo kabo MEC kanye nabo MTC uMOC kanye no MTC indlela ke noma kuyinkomba ke ukuthi ke ucingo uyena washaya ucingo noma uyena owathola ke ucingo.
Then the last paragraph of paragraph 5.
Kelly Khumalo was not a suspect and we concentrate on her as a person of interest. The number of Nkani, suspect number 5, with the number +27 73305 9202 was discovered and ownership was confirmed via e-notice and bank statements.
Kelly Khumalo wayengasiyena ke umsolwa futhi ke sabheka ke nanje umuntu nje esingambuka kodwa inamba yakhe ke unkani umsolwa wesihlanu 277330599202 yatholakala ke noma yabisitholakala ke futhi ke nokuthi kuyinamba kabanike lokho sasithola ke isiqiniseko sako nge-e-notice noma ke ama istatemende zasebhangi.
So I was concerned about the sentence where you said Kelly was not a suspect. But you further mentioned that he was
A person of interest.
a person of interest.
That's correct.
What do you mean by that?
Person of interest, I mean by that she was one of the persons in the house. It was one of our witnesses at that stage.
Lana ke ngokushoyo ukuthi wayengasiyona ke umsolo kodwa ke kuumuntu nje esibhekileke noma ke simbukayo ukuthi ke waye omunye wabantu ababekhona ke endlini omunye wofakazi.
In paragraph 6, you talk about the rebooting of the cell phone.
That's correct.
Lebo kuyiqiniso ukuthi la ku paragraph 6 kukhulunywa ke ngokurebootwa komakhalekhukhwini noma ukuvuswa ke noma ukuvuswa ke kwa umakhalekhukhwini.
So, is there any difference between resetting and rebooting a cell phone?
It's actually the same, but the download machine will read it as a reboot.
Uma usebenzisa ke igama ukureset ukureboota into ke eyodwa ke leyo kodwa ke umshini wona ke uzosebenzisa leli ke lokuvuswa noma ke lika reboot igama.
So, do you mean if you reboot, do you switch off the cell phone? Do you switch off the device?
No.
What do you mean?
You go to your factory settings in your cell phone, factory settings, and then you ask your phone to sort of you give in sort of an instruction to delete everything on your phone.
Uma ke ubenza lokho ke ukuvuswa ke noma ke lokubizwa ukuthi i-reboot uya ke lokho kubizwa ngokuthi ngama factory settings ila khona ke manje uyitshela ke manje ke noma ifoni yakho leyo ke la kuzoba nalokho ukusulwa okuzokwenzeka noma kuna nento ezithize ezosulwa.
During the rebooting process, that information cannot be captured by the 205s. That the cell phone was rebooted.
No.
Ama 205 ke angeke abe nayo ke leyo mniningwane noma leyo information ke ukuthi ke umakhalekhukhwini wavuswa.
So in your paragraph 8, so you were adamant that there was a communication between Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5.
That's correct.
Yebo ke lana ke ku paragraph 8 yebo ke ngisho lokho ke futhi nginesiqiniseko noma ngiqinisekile ukuthi yebo ukuxhumana kwakukhona ke phakathi kwakhe uKelly Khumalo kanye naye ke ummangalelo wesihlanu.
My Lord, may I request that I be given the chance to research that provision, because mainly my cross-examination,
is that now?
the one that we stood it down for the POPIA Act, because my main focus was on that aspect. So, with your permission,
I can give you the number of the director, the administrator, Miss Pensi Chakula. I can give it to you. Talk to her. I mean, she's a civil servant, and she administers the act.
It's not necessary.
Oh, it's not necessary. Okay, fine.
I'll just go through my research again.
How long do you need for your research, sir?
You can give me an hour, my Lord, if possible.
What are you researching? The promulgation of an act?
Yes.
The date? Or you want to research the act, read the act?
No. I don't want to read the act. My Lord, from what I gathered,
yeah,
I understand that it has been promulgated in piecemeal. Yes. So there are certain parts that dealt with the coming to operation of this act in 2014. And if it came into operation, what part of legislation did it cover relating to that aspect?
I see.
Yes, which might be relevant to the questions that I want to impose.
Yeah, but read that act also. Sorry, read S versus Cooper, okay?
Yes, my Lord, I'll do so.
Right, an hour we adjourn.
Family, in the comment section, let's meet, please. Let's talk about this. How do you understand this information? How do you understand the reason why the numbers are not the same? Does it make sense what Colonel Steyn is telling this court? Let's talk about it in the comment section, family. And thank you very much for watching this video to the end. Please do not forget to like it before you leave. As the family is growing, I would like to thank you for subscribing and saying please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I love you, family. Thank you. Bye.